During this clip, we'll explore emotional intelligence, in particular as described by Daniel Goleman in his book, Emotional Intelligence. Emotional intelligence is really important for a leader. Without awareness about how you're thinking, how you're feeling, the beliefs and assumptions that are running those thoughts and those feelings, it's really hard to lead during any business period, and especially when there is a crisis like the rapid change we're experiencing right now. So emotional intelligence is a key facet of a modern leader's approach. Goleman's model gives us 5 factors that are worth considering. The first is self-awareness. So understanding yourself and your motivations is a really important and simple process. One thing I advocate and recommend to clients when I'm coaching them is to listen out for your self-talk. If you can hear the self-talk, and what I mean by self-talk is the words or the thoughts or the ideas that are running through your mind moment by moment, be curious about what emotion is sitting underneath those, and also be curious about beliefs and assumptions. A lot of leaders in crisis are subject to old beliefs and assumptions. Sometimes those old beliefs and assumptions are useful, most of the time they're not. So the first facet of Goleman's model is self-awareness. The second one is self-management. Now, imagining you're in a meeting and you're aware that you've got some self-talk that's based on an old belief structure that's probably not useful. Once you realize that, what do you actually do in that time? So being aware of your emotion and your thoughts, your ideas, then the next step is to make choices. All adults can choose, and without choice, you're usually just being subject to your old fear or your old patterns based on keeping yourself safe. So that's Goleman's second, self-management. The third point that he highlights is social awareness. How do you see and understand what's happening for others without being sucked in and subject to it yourself? This is a key dynamic for times like these, and it's a key dynamic for a leader, because if you can see yourself and understand yourself and manage yourself, you can then see yourself in the context of others. And when they're in fear or they're in shock, you can be choice making about how you act in response to that. Without that choice, you probably just react to it and get sucked into it. The fourth facet that Goleman talks about is relationship management. Once you can see what's going on for others, then what are your choices? What are you aiming to do? And a key thing during times of leadership challenge like now is if another person is emotionally reactive, you just talking to them and telling them what to do is probably not going to make any difference whatsoever. So in times of change like these, it's useful to move to a listening dynamic to allow the person to process the emotion they're experiencing, and then you can move into a next steps type of conversation. So that is relationship management, and it's an important part of leadership. And here's the fifth point for Goleman's emotional intelligence: goal orientation. When I first read that, I was really surprised that such a small amount of people are goal focused. Most of us get caught up in reacting and just managing to get through the day, the week, the quarter, and just to make bonus or just manage to get through the period. But having a goal orientation is the fifth key facet of Daniel Goleman's emotional intelligence. And it's really important for you as a leader to start thinking about what's possible for you, what's possible for your team, your customers, and what's the goal you're setting for the business. Even though we've experienced this crisis, what's the goal? And how do you connect that with the purpose and vision of the organization? So that's Daniel Goleman's 5 key points for emotional intelligence. Point 1 is know yourself. Point 2, manage yourself. Point 3 is understand and be aware of others. And then be curious about how are you relationship managing. And of course, be goal oriented. That's Daniel Goleman's perspective on emotional intelligence.